How's it going, guys? Today I wanted to do one for those of you who might be looking to solidify, stabilize, or increase the results of your manifestation slash magic. And just in case you were wondering, by stabilize, I mean sometimes whenever you try to manifest something, if you aren't specific, you can. It's like a genie in a bottle. You know, they say you get 3 wishes, but 9 times out of 10, he's gonna give you what you want, but he's gonna fuck with you in a bunch of ways. That's kind of what I mean by that. You stabilize your results by being as specific as possible, so it doesn't vary that much from the goal that you're trying to achieve. So anyway, the number one way to solidify your manifestation is to understand what magic slash manifestation really is, and that's just energy manipulation. So the number one way to solidify it and upgrade your abilities to do so is to look into the mechanics of how these things actually work, what they actually are, and how we as a vessel are conveying them through ourselves. So again, manifestation is manipulation of energy. Everything is energy. Energy is what makes up quite literally everything. We as human beings are vessels of energy. We're vessels of the aspects of spirit, which are the elements. We're made of them, and we function through them. If you've watched the other videos, you hear that the air that we breathe is information. It's air, it's elemental air, and it's information that we breathe in, and it feeds us our thought processes. And a lot of different factors go into the quality of information that we're breathing in, such as pollution and things that we're going through, things that we watch on TV, the food that we eat. So we're vessels of spirit, we're vessels of the essence that it takes to manifest. And back to the quality of air that we breathe and the things that we watch and eat, that's a big part of it, is diet and keeping our bodies and our mental state in a place to where we can stay balanced and not let anything take us overboard. Because when you start dealing with certain energies, some of them are real strong, and you got to be able to be strong enough in your will and healthy enough in ways to be able to handle these things, or else a lot of bad things can happen. Like you can lose your head and fucking go crazy for a little while, or you can get sick because your body wasn't in the right state to be going through things like the Kundalini awakening and shit like that. So we're conduits of spirit, which are the essence of the 5 elements: earth, air, water, fire, and ether. And we are made up of all these things as well. So you can see where it'd be very easy for us to tap into them, seeing as we have an aspect of them within the very essence of our spirit essence, and also of our physical vessel. It's also made up of all these elements. So some things you only have in one realm or the other, but we are actually made up of these elements physically and also metaphysically. Metaphysically, we are made up of aether or ether, and that is a combination of all the elements. It's from which all of them come. And manifesting in general is quite a broad term. Manifesting is something that never stops. We're constantly manifesting every single second that we live, with our attitude towards life, towards other people, our thought processes, what we like to do, the things that we do actually do, or even that we think about doing. They all are constantly manifesting in the ether and creation, and you're adding that energy to the collective consciousness. So manifesting is something that we all do all the time, and the way that the system that's in play right now in the world has it, they have us manifesting lots of negative shit all the time, purposely, without us knowing it. Like with all the fear that they fucking make us have to try to believe on TV, and the COVID and the fucking war and all that stupid shit. It's keeping us in a constant state of fear and negativity, and whenever we're thinking fear and negativity, we're manifesting fear and negativity. It's magic. You're quite literally doing magic, even when you are having negative emotions, and you're getting results from it. You're doing a negative magic against yourself, and you don't even know it. So that's why you have to try to change your thought process to don't even worry about anything unless it's immediately in your consciousness, unless it's going to affect you obviously in some way. Whatever's going on in the fucking Ukraine, that's not gonna, we don't fucking know anything about that. We're not there. The TV's bullshit. We can't fly over there and check it out, so there's no reason to even worry about it. And other ways, like whenever we fight with people, your girlfriend, your friends, whatever, you fight and you say hateful things to each other, and you're manifesting hatefulness into the collective consciousness, and it's taking its toll in its way. And everybody doing this all at once in the whole world, because this world is just really set up for fucking stress and negativity. And if you can find your way to be able to get inside yourself and be calm, it's a very amazing thing, and it's a thing to be proud of, because it's a hard thing to do in the world that we live in, but it's certainly not impossible. But anyway, understanding that you are the elements, you are spirit and these elements is what you're using to manifest. So like I said, everyone is constantly manifesting all the time without knowing it or even with knowing it, but it's a constant thing. So it's all about changing your mindset to knowing that you're constantly manifesting, trying to catch yourself whenever you're about to think negative thoughts or say something negative to people, and working on yourself, and you'll start to change your thought processes quite literally, and this will make your manifestation more solidified, this one thing in general. So people do it naturally, yes, but what sets great manifesting from normal manifesting is that the people who are doing it on mass levels know that they're constantly manifesting, and they look into the processes that it takes in order to do it, such as videos like this. So if you're just doing it naturally without knowing what manifestation even is, yeah, you're manifesting, but if you were to take control of that knowledge and knowing that you're actively manifesting, and then looking into it, looking into yourself, because ultimately this all leads back to knowledge of the self, then once you start to learn how these processes unfold through you and then taking place in the world around us, and the connection between those two things, you're going to start to make a whole new connection. It'll make literal neural connections in your brain, and it'll bring your spirit and your mind/brain together, and this will make literal changes in your DNA structure in order for the knowledge to be able to function in your brain. Because once you learn this knowledge, your brain can't just unlearn it. It knows this all of a sudden. The awareness of this, it has to do something with it, because you learn something that's so real to a certain degree that you just can't not do anything with it. That's why some people's brains, some people who you see out there who are just so blind to everything, they'll literally refuse to believe to believe the truth. And it doesn't matter how hard you try to show them, how many facts you put right in front of their face. They have a mechanism in their brain that is refusing to believe the information, because if they did believe it, it would honestly drive them crazy. If you told people that are that blind, if they really honestly woke up and found out that there's fucking extraterrestrials everywhere, and their fucking government's a bunch of fucking pedophiles and Satanists and shit like that, it would ruin them. They would probably kill themselves. And I guess that's a good thing that their brains keep them from believing it. Maybe not, but the point is that once you start to understand these things on a deeper level, that's what sets great manifestation apart from just normal manifestation. It's the knowledge and the awareness that you are manifesting, and then looking into how it's done. And then the more personal connections that you make, the more you're going to upgrade your brain, and you're going to upgrade your DNA structure to be able to be compatible with using these elements that are part of you and also part of everything else to manifest. And a big thing is waking up to the obvious fact at a certain point of animism. There's communicable and knowing spirit to everything that exists, everything that's created of elements, which is everything. There's spirit to it. That's why the Nordics, that they talk about elves and gnomes and fairies, and the Irish government even acknowledges the existence of leprechauns. That's a fact you can look up. And as well as the Native Americans talking about the spirits of the trees and the waterfalls and the plains and whatnot. That's because all these things very much so do have knowing aspects of spirit to them. And these things are always aware of you, whether you're aware of them or not. And that's what sets their intelligence above yours in a way, because they know you're there, you don't know they're there, because you've had this whole aspect of the spirit realm and the aspect of it that is within our realm, which is the etheric. And most people don't even know that it exists. So if you take that aspect out of somebody's mental structure, then their brain will literally start to like devolve, devolve around the loss of that piece of information. Like when you walk through a room, you're quite literally being observed. The wood, everything that's made of elements in that room, which is everything, it has spirit. And in the etheric, you can see it. A seer can see it very well. Shamans and seers, I can see it incredibly well. And they're always there, no matter what. It's the omnipresence. And knowing that these things are always around, and that they are the cause of a lot of different things that happen, from harmless little tricks like hiding your shit from you, or to tripping somebody, or to a spout of good luck even. These beings that are within the elements, they're responsible for things like that a lot of times. In fact, more than often. And anything that happens before us in the physical took place in the spiritual realm. Whether it's a fucking board popping in the other room or a trip to the store spontaneously, it all came from some sort of spiritual essence that made you do what you did, because you function through spirit. And all these beings that I'm talking about all around, they are that spirit, and there's nowhere where they're not. That's what omnipresent means. And we function through them, and our thought processes are made through them. So once we start to understand that, then we build a connection with that, and we start to really get on the truest level of being at one with what we're actually doing here. And then once you start to understand all these things, and you get the ideas in your head that these functions of spirit are even somebody's theory, your mind will start to work with them. And this leads into the next big factor that will determine the authenticity and solidity of your manifestation. And that is the big difference between belief and knowing. Because a lot of people say that they believe something, and they even may think they do believe it, but when it comes down to actually sticking up for that purpose, life or death situation, saying that they believe that when it's actually meaning something, a lot of times people will fail to actually believe it when it's time. Such as people who do tarot cards and stuff like that. I know that if it's in the hands of a real diviner, then it's going to be an amazing thing, and it's going to be very real. But in the hands of somebody who doesn't truly believe in it, who's just doing it to entertain people, then no, it probably won't be as quite accurate as it would be if it was somebody who actually understands what divination is. So the next big factor is the difference between belief and knowing. These things that I've been telling you, I've studied them to a point over years to where I believe them 150%, to a fact to where I know them. I wake up every day and it is my reality, and it's the way that I function, and I witness it personally. I experience it, and it's something that can't be told, that is not real to me by anybody, because I'm living it very real. And that's what it takes to be able to manifest on a level of knowing. Belief will manifest too, of course, but knowing something, completely knowing it, is what brings you to the highest level of manifestation, where you're functioning as the manifester, as the creator, because that's what you are. And it takes quite the process in order to be able to do this. You have to experience things for yourself. You can't know something strictly just from reading about it. You have to be able to meditate and astral project and do all these things that we as human beings are very capable of doing. And there's a wide range of amazing things like astral projection, lucid dreaming. We can develop our extrasensory perception to a point to where we'll realize that we're living in like fucking Alice in Wonderland, and it's quite literally like that. I mean, to people who haven't opened their third eye or their kundalini to any degree, I mean, you will literally wake up to a new fucking world, and that's not even an exaggeration. Nature will be in a completely different thing, and it's an amazing thing though. It's a life-changing experience, and it also takes the love of gaining knowledge. You gotta love to learn. You gotta love to want to do it. You gotta truly want it within yourself to get this information, and it'll find its way to you through synchronicity. 150% positively. If you're seeking it out, it will find you. You just have to be able to look for it. And you have to work on being able to look for the synchronicities and follow them. So anyway, knowing what you're doing within yourself is the best and most number one efficient way to manifest. But again, that's a process that doesn't happen overnight. So you can think of it like this: the knowledge of these things unlocks those aspects of your brain. Just because you've heard about it, it makes it a possibility. And then the deeper understanding, which is you seeking out the information and finding it and doing the experience for yourself, is like upgrades, because you've already unlocked that aspect. Now you're gaining information on it, and you're quite literally upgrading that piece of knowledge inside of your brain. You're upgrading your amount of information on it, and it's going to make you more of an expert at it every single time that you get more information about it. And again, there will be quite literally new neural connections in your brain, because like I said, your brain can't learn something of such a great significance and just not do anything with it. It has to adapt accordingly to the information, because it's to such a serious degree, but an amazing serious degree. And then next, I feel, would be understanding your instruments of manifestation. I like to think of life as music and like a dance, because it almost quite literally is that. 90% of everything is light and sound, and there's only about 5% of everything in existence that is actual physical matter, and even that isn't fully understood. So ether, the fifth element, which contains all other elements, you can think of it as the female aspect, the female primordial force, if you will. It is the material of existence. It's the omnipresence that from which every single thing is born. It's creation. And spirit, like I said, is the 5 aspects of the elements. And we, being humans who are created to be vessels of spirit, there's 5 elements, and we have 5 senses. And those senses are our instruments to convey the individual aspects of spirit. We function entirely through the elements in our senses, because our senses are the physical conveyance of the 5 aspects of spirit before they are conveyed into the physical. So sight, sound, taste, touch, all that stuff, it all blends into one whenever you go into a quantum state. And you can experience this if you astral project, or if you go into yourself, meditation, and have vibrations. You realize that once you're in a quantum state, all the senses blend into one feeling. So all those senses are still there, those 5 senses, but they're blended into one. And then when you cross over into the physical with that essence, those 5 essences that make up spirit break into 5, and through the human, they're conveyed through the 5 senses. So these are our instruments in order to convey individual aspects of spirit, which we are inside. And we have to tune our instruments to high vibratory frequencies in order to resonate with high vibratory beings, which is what we want to do. People who are dickheads and fucking have evil intentions, they're resonating with low vibratory beings. And once you understand the difference between low vibratory and high vibratory, then you start to tune your instruments to sticking with high vibratory thoughts, sticking to high vibratory actions, and then you start to quite literally tune your entire instrument, which is all 5 of them put together, to a higher vibration, and you'll resonate with beings of knowledge because they vibrate at a high vibratory resonance. So basically, in order to be able to upgrade your manifestation in any way other than just some bullshit that you'll hear wherever, you really have to go out and look for the information yourself. You have to first realize again what manifestation / magic is, energy manipulation, and then you go look up energy manipulation. You look up how we do it as human beings, look up the things that I've told you here, and then you start to make personal connections. And like I said, you'll quite literally shift your DNA structure to vibrate at a high resonance. Merging the understanding of your brain which uses logic, which brushes things that are supernatural off with the supernatural aspect of yourself, which is much more powerful, and then you merge those two, and then you'll have physical change in your physical body, but it will also result in spiritual change, and your ESP will go fucking crazy. You'll probably start astral projecting if you haven't, and if you still do, it will probably get more vivid, more intense, more amazing. So just seek out as much knowledge as you possibly can. Make sure you look for people's biased bullshit, and that'll be setting you on the best track for manifesting at the highest rate possible. Much love, much appreciation. I'll see you guys next time.